Tonight's trip to the Lone Star State got off on the wrong foot as the red-hot Rangers swept Tampa Bay and Arlington. Tonight, the Rays' Texas two-step moves south to Houston, where old friend Scott Kazmir and the power-laden Astros await. Tonight, we greet you from the Bayou City of Houston, Texas. The second stop on a three-city road trip. Tonight, the Rays and the Astros meet in Game 1 of a four-game series. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you looking in tonight. Well, the Rays still looking for their first win on this road trip after dropping 3 at Arlington, and they'll send Erasmo Ramirez to the mound looking for his 10th win against an old friend in Scott Kazmir.
And last time out, I don't think we've seen Erasmo Ramirez any better than he was in his last start against the Atlanta Braves. He went 7 strong innings, no earned runs, did not hurt himself with the walk, struck out 4, but he did it on 70 pitches. So very efficient, and that's the one thing that I love about Erasmo Ramirez. He does not waste time with hitters. He goes out there with quality pitches, attacks, and puts them away early. Another guy throwing the ball very well, Scott Kazmir. The Houston Astros pick him up to bolster their starting rotation down the stretch, and what he's done with this Astro Ball club is just give up 3 earned runs in 26 innings of work. You're going to see everything from Scott Kazmir. The fastball, he's going to cut it, changeup, curveball, slider. He's going to come at you with everything.
And for Scott Kazmir, who won 15 last year with Oakland, he's back in his hometown, born in Houston, and now pitching for the Astros, second in the American League with a 2.12 ERA. Roster move today made by the Rays, and when we come back, Emily Austin will have all the info on that. Rays and the Astros moments away.
see here at Minute Maid Park. Chris Archer showering me with some sunflower seeds because he's just so nice. So, what's a Rays game or a Sun Sports broadcast without a Rays roster move? They've made 125 since opening day, and here's the next one. Richie Schaefer optioned back to Durham. He is DHing for the Bulls in Louisville tonight. Kevin Cash said he had really quality at-bats. There's a lot of talent and power there. Hopefully we'll see him soon. And the Rays will see a familiar face here in Houston tonight. Enny Romero. This is his 4th time up for the Rays. The lefty has appeared in 5 games with a 7.84 ERA. Here's Kevin Cash on the move.
After thinking about it after the game, we knew that our bullpen was a little taxed, to say the least, so we wanted to be smart and get an extra arm up here, especially with the way Colomé performed for us. We knew he'd most likely need a day to regroup, so it made the most sense going forward for us.
Enny found out when he was eating with some teammates. So what did he do? Pick up the check before heading to Houston. You might see him on the mound tonight. Brandon Guyer will start things off for the Rays. Coming up next. Don't go anywhere.
Tonight in Houston, the Rays and the Astros square off to open this 4-game series. 4 night games here. The Rays taking on the Houston club, leading the American League West by 3.5 games. A year ago, they were en route to a 70-92 season. Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Brought to you by your Southern Ford dealers. The Rays will have Brandon Guyer leading it off in right field, followed by Desmond Jennings and then Evan Longoria. Logan Forsythe has Drupal Cabrera and Tim Beckham down the middle. Daniel Nava's in the lineup at first, hitting in front of Kevin Kiermaier. Kurt Casale will bat ninth. He'll do the catching.
Well, this lineup will be going up against an old friend, not tonight. But Scott Kazmir taking the mound tonight here for the Houston Astros, making his 5th start for the team, 23rd overall. And how about that ERA of 2.12? That is good enough for 2nd in the American League. Doesn't have a whole lot to show for it record-wise, but certainly has thrown the ball very, very well. Let's take a look at the Houston Astros defense and see how it's going to line up behind Scott. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Preston Tucker, Carlos Gomez, and Colby Rasmus. Across the infield third to first, Jed Lowry, Carlos Correa, Jose Altuve, and Luis Valbuena, with Jason Castro behind the plate.
In the American League wild card race, the Rays are 2.5 back, suffering the series sweep up in Arlington at the hands of the Texas Rangers. So the Rays chasing a pretty full field right now. See Toronto on top with Baltimore in the second spot, a half game up on the Angels, a game on Texas, a game and a half in front of the Twins, and the Rays now 2.5 back. All of that with 45 games left in the regular season. And they go head to head with this Houston ball club tonight and Scott Kazmir. Rays a game under 500 at 58 and 59. Houston at 64 and 54. All set to play ball in the first pitch of this game, presented by Pinch a Penny, and it is down and in. A ball, no strikes, so we are underway. Two and nothing. Geyer starting tonight at .257 in the leadoff spot, 5 home runs. It's a bouncer, foul, and into the Rays dugout, bouncing out off the ledge and getting Evan Longoria a glancing blow in the back as he was on the top step of the dugout, preparing to hit third in the inning. It's a ball and 2 strikes.
Scott Kazmir, he's going to throw a little bit of everything at the Rays. The fastball, the cutter, curveball, changeup, slider. In the early going, trying to gain some fastball command. Full count here for Brandon Geyer. Pretty good idea of what he's going to see. We'll see who executes better.
And a cut and a miss. Fastball at 91. And he was quick for 91.
You know what? You're exactly right, Dwayne. I looked at the gun reading because you're thinking that the swing and the way the ball jumped out of the hand, you're thinking 94, 95. He saved his best fastball for last, had good late movement and late action on it, and he's able to power it by Brandon Geyer.
Here's Desmond Jennings after the first pitch, and he pops that one foul. Headed out of play, back of the dugout, down the first base side. Desmond getting back into action against the Texas Rangers in the opening series of the trip. Takes a strike on the outer part of the plate. Desmond yesterday tripled his first time up, had a run scored, had a hit on Saturday, and a 3-hit night on Friday. 1-2 the count.
Well, that's what the Rays were hoping for in getting Desmond Jennings back. Been away from the team for a long, long time, but he stepped right back in and had been very productive.
2-2.
And you know, you start to think about Desmond Jennings, the former center fielder. Now you're going to move him over into left field with Kiermaier out there in center. Think about the room that they can cover. Not going to be a big deal here because left field being so short. But overall, having those two athletes out in the outfield, a big boon to the defense.
The chop. Altuve on the shortstop side of second. Pitch the throw away, and time to get Jennings. So the Astros shifting on Jennings, and he hit the ball right to Altuve.
Boy, that's something that we're going to see. One thing we can guarantee is the shift is going to be in play all series long with these two teams. They do it more than anybody.
Two very shifty teams here, the Astros and the Rays. Rays tops in that department. First pitch to Longoria. He takes a strike. Nobody on with 2 outs just underway. The Rays saw Kazmir earlier this year at Tropicana Field back in May, on the 22nd of May, and the Rays came away with a victory in that one. Breaking ball that stayed wide there. 2-1. Ground ball. That's going to go through. Longoria beats the ship, taking it to the first base side of second, with Altuve on the shortstop side of the bag.
And you know what? I don't think the Houston Astros, given the count, really care. You know, in a 2-1 count with the short porch out in left field, you're thinking about Evan Longoria doing damage. If he wants to do that, yes, it keeps the inning going for the Rays, but I don't think the Houston Astros concerned at all with that single there, at least not at this point.
So a base runner. And Logan Forsythe, who is the designated hitter. Logan getting a little breather tonight as the DH to get him off his feet. He's made more starts this year, played in more games in a single season than he ever has before. Into the screen, and the count is 1-1.
And I'll be honest with you, I don't want Logan Forsythe off his feet. I want him out at second base. I mean, he's been that good that when you see him out of the lineup as far as out in the field, you're thinking, okay, let's have a clean game. And he has been something else for this Rays club.
It's upstairs, now 2-1. Three balls and a strike. 2 outs. Longoria at first. Rays got 3 runs off Kazmir in that game. He pitched against them for Oakland earlier. 2 earned runs in 5 2/3. Forsythe takes a strike. Joe West calling the balls and strikes tonight. Veteran umpire, broke in 1976. Pitch is fouled out of play. Joe, the pride of Elon College, was born in Asheville, North Carolina on Halloween night. He's the crew chief.
Boy, Halloween night, Joe West, that fits. That fits. There's a lot that just started to make sense.
It's a foul ball right back into the screen.
I had the pleasure of meeting Joe West one time at the Lodge in Chicago.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
he's a fun guy to be around.
Yeah, no, he was none too impressed with me, Dwayne, at all. It was the most, out of my face kid. Shooting me away with his cowboy hat.
And that pitch is upstairs. The Rays are going to get 2 base runners. Well, you haven't seen Joe West at his best if you haven't been to a chili cook-off with him.
him cooking or
no,
eating or
participating and being sociable.
And he feels right at home.
It's a great event. Yeah. Yep.
Are you going to just tease it like that, or are we going to get a little bit more as the game goes on?
They've got a chili spiel west of here. A little place called Schulenburg near Flatonia, and he used to go there every year after a long season of baseball. He's been at it a long time.
Yeah. What'd you say, 76?
76 he broke in. First pitch to his Drupal Cabrera. 1 ball and no strikes.
Well, this is the one thing that has not plagued Scott Kazmir this year. He has been very efficient, much more than in the recent past. Pitches per inning, lowering his walk rate. A bit of a struggle here in the first.
Nice catch in the second deck on that foul ball. Well, the Rays, when they saw him against Oakland at Tropicana Field, got a couple of base runners in the first, but he left them on. Two men on with 2 men out here.
You see that 3 walks in that game, up over 100 pitches and a little over 5 innings of work. And right now, that's the interesting thing. When you get a guy like Scott Kazmir that throws as many different pitches as he does, when you're getting ready for a game, you're working on your fastball, both sides of the plate. You're going to cut a couple, then here drop in a slider. I got to work on my changeup, get my curveball. That's a lot to get ready for a ball game. And right now, it just doesn't have a feel for anything.
Two on the count on Cabrera. And he has him out in front.
That's how you take advantage of a hitter's aggressiveness, a hitter's count, and you come with a breaking ball, a slider down in the zone, and get Cabrera to expand that zone, and now you're back to even in the count. But this is where Scott Kazmir wants to put you away. 2-2 action count. You don't want to get to 3-2 and get the base runners moving. This is your action pitch.
The 2-2 into center field. Gomez coming in. It'll drop in front of him. Longoria's going to score, and the Rays take the lead.
Boy, it looked like Carlos Gomez completely misplayed that. That ball was up there long enough. You're thinking that the center fielder for the Astros is going to be able to get to it. I don't know if he got a bad break, a bad read. But that ball dropped right in front of him out there in center field. And guess what? That single by Evan Longoria, now the Astros are concerned about it because he just came around to score. You see Gomez, he just gets a late start. Then he's got to pull up a better jump, and that's probably the 3rd out of the inning. Instead, the Rays take a lead.
Well, let's see if they can take advantage of that for more as Longoria has crossed the plate. Tim Beckham, who's playing second base tonight. There's a pickoff play back at second. And Forsythe is back in there.
Well, he's not been the smoothest of transitions for Carlos Gomez coming down from Milwaukee. Not swinging the bat well, not getting a good jump on that particular play that cost his team a run.
It's fouled back with the defensive side of his game. Premier, and he is coming off an 0 for 13 series against the Tigers. So one would think that would not translate into his defense, but you never know. Pressing with a new team.
That's what I think it is, Dwayne. Anytime that you're one of those deadline deals, you know that this team's bringing you on because they're counting on you to put them over the top. And so there's that added pressure that you're going to be a difference maker on this team, and some guys handle it better than others.
Well, you start to think things through too much. You don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to go all out maybe and trust your instincts on that fly ball that dropped in front of him, and you wind up being a step too late. High fly ball back into left. Tucker's going to look up, and that ball is out of here. Home run for Tim Beckham. Beckham hits an 0-2 pitch out of here. And just like that, the Rays add 3 more to make it a 4-run first. Beckham's 6th home run of the year.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, Tim Beckham once again with a big hit, down in the count, 2 strikes. Well, he has done that so many times, but then he gets that pitch in an 0-2 count, and you could see the reaction of Scott Kazmir. He knew he yanked it out over the heart of the plate, and he knew what the result would be. What an inning here for the Rays.
4 runs across, and here's Daniel Nava. 3 coming on the Beckham home run. Pitch is in there for a strike. And 2 now. Well, Beckham just did what the Astros offense has taken advantage of this year, and that's left field here at Minute Maid Park. Beckham hit that ball well.
And how about the fact now that the Rays have scored more earned runs off of Scott Kazmir here in the first inning than he had given up in his 4 previous starts with the Astros. Now, he'd given up some unearned runs. In fact, he's tied for 2nd in the American League in giving up unearned runs, but only 3 in 26 innings coming into this start. Rays tag him for 4 already.
There's a base hit lined into center field. Nava's aboard. Well, Nava making the start against Kazmir, and there was a time, as you'll recall, he had given up hitting right-handed and had gone strictly from the left side, and has now gone back to switch hitting. That happened in a rehab assignment. And then they're hitting right-handed, and he hit that ball hard on a line into center.
Boy, he sure did. And that was another mistake by Kazmir. Again, with his wide assortment of pitches, nothing has been sharp.
Well, we know how good he's been recently. You break this down, a Toyota trend since the 11th of June, a 124 earned run average, and the whip below 1.
Well, that's the key. The whip, walks, hits per innings pitched. You're not giving up any. You just don't allow base runners. You don't allow runs. You win ball games, or at least in theory, you win ball games.
Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Pitch is a strike. The Astros have the shift on for Kiermaier against the lefty Kazmir. Oh, 2. And a swing and a miss. Kiermaier is out on strikes. So the Rays send 8 men to the plate. They score 4, 3 coming on one swing of the bat from Tim Beckham. Bottom of the first coming, 4-0 Rays. put 4 up in their half of the inning. And the Astros coming in to bat. Their starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jose Altuve will lead it off, followed by Preston Tucker and then Carlos Correa. Jed Lowry hits cleanup at third. Carlos Gomez in center. Colby Rasmus is in right. Evan Gattis the DH, followed by Luis Valbuena. And Jason Castro will catch and hit ninth.
Well, right-hander Erasmo Ramirez looking to get into double digits in the win column here tonight, making his 19th start. And I don't know if he could have been any better than he was his last time out. 7 shutout innings on just 70 pitches.
And he faces Altuve, the 8th leading hitter in the American League, and the pitch is a strike call. Altuve really not only the spark plug in this lineup, but in many ways the heart and soul of this Houston team.
Well, he walked it off for him yesterday. Base hit. Beat the Tigers 6-5, and you're absolutely right. I mean, he is little Mr. Do-it-all.
Wide there from Ramirez. He's outside again, 3-1. Rasmo pitched against Houston on the 10th of July at Tropicana Field and got a 3-2 win. And he picks up the corner. It's 3-2. Joe West, throughout his career, has had a tendency to widen the plate a bit to right-handed hitters. So that's something that he might be able to take advantage of. Pitch popped up. Foul ball back near the screen and out of play.
Well, and the way that you do that is pound the zone early. You know, when you go out there and show a home plate umpire, a guy that's willing to expand the zone, that you are locating and executing pitches, then guess what? You start to move and walk guys off the plate. You get some of those calls. The borderline pitches will go your way, but you got to pound the zone early. If you're all over the place, you don't get anything.
Fly ball into left. Jennings to his left and makes the catch for the out.
Let's take a look at the Rays defense. Quickly brought to you by BMW. In that outfield left to right, Jennings, Kiermaier, and Geyer. Different look across the infield. Third to first, you've got Longoria, Cabrera, and then Beckham and Daniel Nava with Kirk Casale behind the plate.
Preston Tucker, who's hit 12 home runs for Houston. This pitch is a strike. Tucker out of the University of Florida. One and one. He hit a game-tying home run the other day in the Detroit series that they clocked at 99.9, a pitch from Rondon. A little tapper there, and Tucker's out on the off-speed. Bruce Rondon threw him a pitch that was clocked at 99.9, and he hit it out. That's the hardest thrown baseball that they've clocked this year that has been hit for a home run.
Get the head out and get it started early. I mean, 99.9. Well, then you think about Chapman with the Cincinnati Reds. You know, there's a website that you can go on and you can look at the top 50 hardest fastballs, you know, longest home runs, all of those things. Well, he absolutely ruined it. Speaking of fastballs, because he owns the top 50 hardest fastballs. They're ranging anywhere from like 103 something to 102 and a half, and he had the first 50 spots. How about that? And apparently none of those have been hit for a home run.
Yeah, if you can hit the 100-mile-per-hour mark, so far you're safe. Yeah. 99.9, a different story. Preston Tucker hit it out. Ground ball toward the middle. That's a base hit for the young shortstop. And he continues to swing a very good bat for Houston.
He really does. You know, the power and the production is there. 14 homers, 38 runs driven in since his call-up June 8th. But the average now with this hit, he's getting pretty close here to 290. Came in at 286. And using the middle of the field there. But how about the fact that he's just 20 years old?
And shows great balance at the plate as a hitter.
He plays well beyond his years, no question about that. Not phased at all, getting to the big leagues at such a young age. Boy, he's performing.
Jed Lowry from the left side lifts it into left, caught by Jennings. No runs, a hit, the man left. We've gone 2-1, 4-0 Rays. With the Rays on top 4-0. And Kurt Casale is going to lead it off for the Rays against Scott Kazmir.
Come on, Scotty. Come on now.
Casale hitting .222 with 8 home runs. And a cut and a miss on that first pitch. Casale leading off, followed by Geyer and then Jennings. And the pitch is a strike. Joe West checked over his bat before this inning began. And he apparently approves of it. You know, Casale had hit no home runs in 72 at-bats last year. Now he has 8 home runs in 81 at-bats this year. And apparently he's having his bat looked over now. How about that?
See? And that Halloween birthday, Dwayne, again, it explains a lot.
And the pitch is a strike call. Casale caught looking.
You know what I think he was looking over that bat for was for the simple fact that there's no pine tar on it. When do you ever see a baseball bat that doesn't have that distinct pine tar, you know, on it at some point? Obviously, Kurt Casale preferring the grip stick, not on that at bat.
Brandon Geyer fouls it back. One strike to count. Geyer out on strikes the first time around. A little number towards short. Glove by the young shortstop Correa, and he throws out Geyer.
Well, there's The other part of his game that's been very solid is play at shortstop. A dynamic player all around, good defender, made a nice play there to get Geyer. Yeah, if you're a 20-year-old, youngest position player in all of Major League Baseball, and you come to the big leagues at 20 years old and you're wearing number 1, you'd better be real good.
Desmond Jennings fouling that one off. Well, he already has more home runs than any other shortstop, and he's only played 59 games coming into this one. Two strikes. Rays got 4 runs on 4 hits and a walk in the first inning. And Jennings is out on 3 pitches. 2 strikeouts in the inning. 4-0 Tampa Bay. Let's go places. By Outback Steakhouse, curbside takeaway. Order online at Outback.com. And by Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. From Houston, the Rays with a small contingent of fans, but here, nevertheless. And Carlos Gomez opens the bottom of the second against Ramirez.
You know, you go back to that guy that we just saw with the cowboy hat. I don't even know what you'd call it. But anyway, what if you're sitting behind him? You pay good money, come to a ball game, and that guy's got that hat on. Really? See, look at him. Look how disgusted that gentleman is behind him. I can't even see the game because of your lid.
Yeah, and the other people who were behind him apparently moved out. There's a bunt and a good one. Gomez is aboard.
Gomez just shook hands with the ball boy. Way past the bag. Well, you see him right there. Boy, he put himself in good position, and he got a good pitch to handle. And you can see Evan Longoria just conceding. The bunt was too good, and there was no play to be made.
Well, that hitless streak, we mentioned he was hitless in the Detroit series, and that bunt just snapped an 0 for 17, and he can smile a little bit now. There's Kobe Rasmus. The pitch is a strike. Our GMC big matchup Colby Rasmus, his last 4 hits have been home runs, and when Ramirez faced the Astros at the Trop, Rasmus hit one off him. 1-1.
And a couple of those home runs in yesterday's ball game.
He accounted for the only run Ramirez gave up in that outing in 6 innings. Little nubber back to the mound, and Ramirez will take it to first. And with Longoria coming in for a potential play on that ball, he had to backpedal to get back to third base because it was left unoccupied for a moment, and Gomez had rounded that bag at second but decided to hang on there. One thing about this Houston lineup, you might have a 4-run lead, but anytime they get a base runner and you look at the power in their lineup, there's always danger lurking around the corner, top to bottom. Evan Gattis very strong, 17 home runs on the year.
Well, and this is why we might as well get this out early, because we're going to be here for 4 days. But this is why this series, when it comes down to Rays pitching, it's not going to be about the stuff. You're not going to outstuff these guys. You have to execute pitches. You can see right there, they lead Major League Baseball, all of Major League Baseball, in home runs. Trouble lurks up and down the lineup, but when you have swings that are that big, they have holes. And so if you execute the game plan, you hit your spots, this is a team that can be pitched to. They crush mistakes.
And what they have done is take advantage of their home ballpark, particularly in left field. They've played 59 games at home. They've played 59 on the road. They've hit 93 home runs at home versus 68 on the road. There's a little roller to the right side against the shift, and a wild throw. Run is going to score as Nava comes up with the ball. So Gomez scores to make it 4-1.
This is why you don't want Logan Forsythe off his feet. I mean, I know you have to give him a blow every now and then, but this is why you don't want him. He's been so good out at second base. Beckham does a nice job of getting there, and he got plenty of time with Gattis running, but boy, he rushes everything and tries to get rid of this ball in a hurry, doesn't get his feet set properly, doesn't get his shoulders square, and he just missed that throw by 6-7 feet, and that allowed Carlos Gomez to gallop home.
So now Clint Fagan, the first base umpire, entertaining conversation here with the Rays skipper, and I'm guessing part of that had to do with Nava, who waited and then tagged Gattis, thinking that he may have taken a step towards second base.
Yeah, and I looked for that, Dwayne, and I didn't see anything that would warrant. I understand why the Rays are going to take that shot, because anytime you have an overthrow like that, you're thinking the base runner is going to immediately think about going to second. And so you can get that little turn, and if he heads back to the bag, you can make the tag. But I think it's going to work out here for the Rays, because I think Evan Gattis stayed pretty much down the line.
Well, Kevin Cash made as good a case as he could. And, that's kind of interesting. You can see Gattis thinking about it, but continuing up the line. He was on the verge a couple of times of heading towards second, but continued to run a straight line. So he's at first with a run home.
You can't appeal a lean.
So it's a hit and an error, and Gattis is aboard. Valbuena drives it into center. Kiermaier's back there to make the catch. I'm telling you, center field here should be a lot of fun for Kevin Kiermaier. He loves to run and cover ground. Well, he's got a lot of ground to cover out there.
Well, yeah. Look, I mean, 436, but he gets to run up hills and around poles. You know, he loves. You know, Valbuena. I don't know why he flipped the bat. You're not going out dead center here. That ball didn't even get to the warning track. But yeah, Kiermaier, this is like a playground for him. He gets to run around and jump and spin and roll downhill. It's going to be a blast for him for 4 days.
Jason Castro swings and misses. That's a strike. Gomez has scored. He bunted his way on, moved to second on the ground out, scored on that what turned out to be an infield hit and an error. The 6th error of the year charged to Beckham, and his 4th as a second baseman. Castro hitting .211, but he's in double figures in home runs with 10.
What do they have? Eight guys that are in double digits home runs, and they got a couple more that are close.
Yeah, well, Altuve, for an example, has 9.
Yeah, they're one of the extreme teams. They've got the lowest team average in the American League, most home runs in baseball, most stolen bases in the American League. They get thrown out a ton. I mean, everything they do is at the end of the spectrum, good or bad.
Jay Hinch in his first year here. Well, as we mentioned earlier, they won 70 games last year. They're 10 over 500 with a 3.5 game lead over the Angels in the AL West. So whatever they're doing, it's working. You know, the 70 wins last year, this club hadn't won as many as 70 games. Well, they won 76 in 2010. Then they won 56. They won 55. In 13, they won 51 games. And last year, 70. This year in first place in the West. It's fouled away. So Gaddis, who is breaking with 2 outs and a full count, will head back to first.
This team was being built with this core of players, thinking this core next year, the year after. And boy, they've surprised everybody, and by where they're at now. And now adding pieces for the run.
And that pitch just missed for ball 4. 2 men on with 2 men out in the second inning, and we'll get back around to the top of the order, Altuve.
Yeah, well, that's what you don't want to do, is get Altuve up here in a runners in scoring position opportunity, and you do it via the walk, something that Ramirez, you know, he'll walk a guy here and there, but that last start, no walks, very efficient.
70 pitches in 7 innings against Atlanta.
Especially the 9-hole hitter, too.
And to face Altuve. Came into the game hitting .302 and over .350 when you put a runner in scoring position. The fly ball to left his first time. Broken back, the ground ball to Longoria. Down to Beckham on the force play to retire the side. They score 1, lead 2. Through 2, it's 4-1 Rays. Evan Longoria is going to lead it off. A reminder, come to the Trop Sunday, August 30th. The Rays take on the Royals, and youngsters 14 and under receive a DJ Kitty drawstring bag presented by All Children's Hospital, Johns Hopkins Medicine, while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Well, here's Longoria. Forsythe and Cabrera will follow against Kazmir. And a strike is called. Longoria homered off Kazmir when they faced him back in May when he was still a member of the Oakland A's. Kazmir gave up 3 runs as Evan Longoria accounted for all 3 of those with a 5th inning home run in that game. Fly ball center field. And that's going to drop in front of Gomez. And Longoria is on again. He is 2 for 2. Runner aboard in the 3rd, and let's check in with Emily.
Hey, Dwayne, you see Logan Forsythe in that DH spot. Apparently, Kevin Cash mentioned it yesterday that he hit DH today instead of get out there on his feet or get some time off of his feet, rather. Logan told me that this is actually beneficial not only because he gets time off his feet, but he's able to stay in a rhythm and routine getting the DH spot. I asked him, how does your body feel? Are you at least healthy? No injuries to be worried about? He goes, well, as good as it could feel for being August. So you look at Kevin Cash's decision here, and not only does he get time off his feet for Logan, but maybe he knew Beckham was just going to go yard in the 1st.
Well, he's made more starts this year than in any other season in his career, 110 starts. And this is the 4th time the Rays have utilized him as the DH. A ball, no strikes, the count. One and one. Forsythe drew the walk after Longoria singled with 2 outs in the 1st. Now a leadoff single by Evan in the 3rd. Forsythe taking that pitch wide. 2-1. Kazmir made a lot of pitches in that 1st inning when the Rays scored 4, sending 8 men to the plate, 38 pitches, and then came right back with a 9-pitch inning in the 2nd. It's 2-2. There's a liner over the head of the shortstop Correa into left. 2 men on with nobody out in the 3rd for the Rays. And Forsythe is on for the 2nd time tonight.
Well, the Rays putting some pretty good at-bats against Scott Kazmir. That was a nice job by Logan Forsythe, knowing that Kazmir likes that changeup with 2 strikes. And look at how he was able to stay back. That was a good pitch by Scott Kazmir. Look at how down and away. A better job of Logan Forsythe in being able to recognize the pitch, trust the hands, and get it out over the head of Carlos Correa.
You know, you look at Forsythe, he's had great at-bats all year, and he's not the tallest guy, but he has strong hands, and that is a big part of his success story this year at the plate.
You know, we keep talking about his workload, playing more than he's ever played before at the big league level. If you want to see if he's wearing down, just watch the hands when he swings. That's going to be the dead giveaway. And so far, no sign of wear and tear. His hands, he's trusted his hands better than any hitter in this lineup all season long.
A ball, no strikes, the count on Cabrera. Ground ball, Correa out at second, throw to first. They'll get the double play started by the 20-year-old shortstop, and Longoria advances to third.
Yeah, that ball was stung by Asdrubal Cabrera. It was hit hard. Correa, he had to make a quick play there because that ball gets on him in a hurry. He's able to do it outside of his leg and then stumbling away, still give a good feed to Altuve, who then finishes off to Valbuena. That's a mouthful. Correa, Altuve, Valbuena. Say that 5 times fast, Dwayne, for me right now.
I thought you did a great job. You know, you can't top it. Why try to imitate it? Often imitated, never duplicated.
I don't have to say it again, though. That gives the Astros 2 outs.
Low here to Tim Beckham. Beckham a home run in the first on an 0-2 count. And there was a little doubt when that left the bat, giving the Rays 3 quick runs here in a 4-run first. He bats again in the third. He hit a home run in that game. Kazmir started for Oakland at the Trop. He did not hit it off Kazmir, but if you'll recall, that was the ball that he hit up on the Captain Morgan deck in the 8th inning of that game for the 5th run of the night for the Rays. Hit it off Arnold Leone of Oakland.
And that's a blast getting to the deck.
Close, but Joe West not going to go for that one. 2-2.
I would hope not. Although the way that Jason Castro was set up, it didn't look that bad because he was way off the edge of the plate.
Tapper, Kazmir makes the throw to first. Close over there. Kazmir taking his time before unloading, and he just did get Beckham. So the Rays will leave a man after picking up a couple of hits. We're headed into the bottom of the third with the Rays leading 4-1.
That's tough to watch.
Rays lead 4-1. Had a couple of men on in the third, but came away with nothing. And you know, that ground ball by Tim Beckham, you can tell Kazmir's thinking about what he's doing.
Well, listen, Scott Kazmir has had issues throwing to bases. So what you want to do at that point with a pitcher is say, listen, set your feet and throw that ball firm. You know, you see a lot of these pitchers, they try to, flutter that ball over to first base, baby it a little bit. They end up airmailing it. And so that's been an issue for Kazmir, and I don't even like that one. I mean, that's still you take your time and then throw a 92-mile-an-hour sinker to the first baseman. That's not fun either.
Preston Tucker taking a big cut at that first pitch. And he breaks his bat, pops it up, and Nava's going to get there. Makes a little basket catch with that first baseman's mitt in foul territory.
That was a grown man, Dwayne. A grown man and a big swing and an 18-foot pop-up.
It's the same guy who hit the 99.9 per hour fastball out of here the other day for you.
That's why you play the game. Daniel Nava.
Carlos Correa up here. Single up the middle. The pitch is inside. The Rays have Beckham on the shortstop side of second base. Now a strike. 25-year-old right-hander Erasmo Ramirez. Well, how about all those rookie home run leaders? 4 of the top 6 with these two clubs here. Steven Souza Jr., as you know, on the DL with 15. Correa 14. Tucker 12 and Casali with 8. 2 and 2. Doesn't seem fair that Joe West would check only Casali's bat. He's only 4th on that list.
Halloween, Dwayne. Halloween. I'm so glad that you brought that to my attention because that explains everything.
Oh, strike 3 call right there. That'll be the second out of the inning and the first strikeout for Erasmo Ramirez.
This pitch, he lets it go, starts it off the plate away, and look at the late action, taking it back to the outer third. Boy, that is a great pitch by Ramirez because out of the hand, you're saying, okay, that's a fastball, and it's off the plate. You give up on it, and then that little late movement takes it back into the zone. Heck of a pitch.
And Jed Lowry, and he takes the pitch in there for a strike. Lowry suffered torn ligament in his right thumb in early May and just recently back. And a cut and a miss. Casali down to Nava. And it's a 1-2-3 inning here in the third with the Rays leading 4-1. Now it's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #SSDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. There's Daniel Nava leading off against the left-hander Scott Kazmir.
You know what I want to see? I want to see the guy they had on the Jumbotron in between innings. He in a tank top. He waves, okay? And all I'm going to say about what we saw was it looked like he had Chris Archer in a headlock. I mean, come on.
I'm not sure we want to see that again.
But it did look like that. I've never seen anything like that.
Kind of glad I missed it.
Maybe that'll be the SS Data Strong photo.
Boy, if you had a photo of that, that's a clear winner.
Guaranteed.
Nava fouling that one. You do understand it's a long road trip. 10 games, we're only 4 games in.
I'm getting excited because after this series, I love coming to this ballpark. We go to Oakland, okay?
Yep.
And that's when it happens because that's late night with the Rays.
Yep. So 4 here in Houston and then late night with the Rays from Oakland.
A fitting way to end a 10-game road trip.
Yes. Yeah, and a great atmosphere out there for late night.
Wild. That stadium. I mean, whether it's the A's or the Raiders.
Tapper left side. Lowry gloves and throws. And Nava is the first out in the 4th inning. Kevin Kiermaier is going to be coming to the plate. Have you seen the Outlaw capture Kiermaier on Saturday, August 29th, when the Rays battle the Royals? And all fans receive a Kevin Kiermaier Outlaw action figure presented by Dex Imaging while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Rays up.
You know, maybe Cowboy Joe should have checked Kiermaier's bat, the Outlaw.
So Joe West is the sheriff of this crew. Popped up, and Altuve takes care of that. So a couple of quick outs now in the 4th inning. Kurt Casale, regulation bat in hand.
No pine tar.
Pitch outside. One and one. Ball, 2 strikes.
Remember we talked early on, Kazmir really was not in the flow. The pitches were not sharp. Well, they're starting to tighten up a little bit. That is a very, very good curveball by Scott Kazmir.
Up with a fastball. 2-2.
That's right, boy. Boy, JC.
And that's strike 3 call. Fastball out there, away. 1-2-3, go the Rays. They lead 4-1. by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By Circle K, get your favorite size Polar Pop all summer long for just 69 cents. And by Checkers, epic meals, epic deals. Downtown Houston, Minute Maid Park. Bottom of the fourth inning coming. The Rays scored 4 in the first. Houston got a run in the second. And they'll have Carlos Gomez, their center fielder, leading off in the bottom half of this frame. It's a ball, no strikes. Twins have taken a 6-5 lead on the Yankees in New York in the top of the fifth inning. 2-0 the count on Gomez. And the Orioles, playing at home against Oakland, have a 4-2 lead going into the top of the eighth. And a foul ball right off his foot.
And you'll see that a lot when Ramirez comes in on a hitter because of that late movement. Where that ball starts to bore in on him. You try to get the head to it, and you just wear out that front leg. That hurts.
Down to first, and Nava's right there, positioned perfectly. One away.
Yeah, how about that? You know, Carlos Gomez did a nice job of getting inside that pitch and shooting it the other way. It was a good job hitting, but Daniel Nava didn't have to move. He just had to bend over. Well, let's break down this ground ball to first. There it is. Stay inside. Perfectly positioned.
Kobe Rasmus pulls this one foul off the low sidewall.
Nothing gives me more pleasure than breaking down ground balls to first base. I think that's my favorite part of my job.
Yep.
I'm not really sure why.
Well, that one was very frustrating to a hitter.
Oh,
that's probably why.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
He's thinking, okay, I did a great job.
Fly ball back into center. A lot of room out there. Kiermaier's there.
You're thinking you stay inside the baseball, you do everything properly, you shoot the ball the other way, you hit it hard. And then, by the way, as it comes off your bat, you know typically where guys are stationed and positioned. And so you're thinking, ooh, I got that hole between first and second. And you look up, and there's your first baseman plugging it up and taking you out at first.
That's why you love that replay. A frustrated hitter.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I got you.
That's why. It's only natural. I like that. I respect that about him. Evan Gattis fouls it out of play for a strike. It's early in the evening, though.
You know, well, that's true. A lot of good work yet to be done.
Only in the bottom of the fourth here in Houston, game one. Pop foul out of play. 0-2.
And here we are again, Erasmo Ramirez, efficient. You know, he's given up the run. He's at 52 pitches here. Has a chance to end the inning right with this one.
High shot deep to right, though, and that will get out. Gattis, 0-2 pitch. He is a strong man and hit it to the opposite field to make it 4-2.
Well, and I think Erasmo Ramirez, you just saw the shake of his head. I think he's thinking, how did Evan Gattis get to this pitch? And he's going to throw this fastball up in the zone, and I mean, it is up in the zone, and Gattis is able to get the barrel to the baseball. And you're right about the strength. If he's able to do that, that ball will go. Watch where this ball is. And this ball way up and off the plate. Wasn't it Gattis who hit the ball that was like shoulder high off of Trevor Bauer in Cleveland?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's exactly right. So, well, you got a guy that's shown the ability to do that.
That shot, that replay, and slow-mo breaking it down, explains how difficult that is and how strong He is.
Dwayne, that pitch was 6 inches from being a pitch out. And he just circled the bases.
0-2 the count on the Houston first baseman, Luis Valbuena. So it's a 2-run game now for Gaddis, his 18th home run of the year. One ball, 2 strikes. Fly ball toward the line and left, and Jennings is there. So they get a run on the opposite field home run by Evan Gaddis. We go to the 5th, 4-2 Rays. In tonight's game and all season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation. For every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports, Tim Beckham belting a 3-run home run in the first. Rays since then have no runs, 2 hits. And here's the top of the order. Brandon Guyer up for the 3rd time. Bounds it straight back for a strike. Guyer has struck out and has grounded out to the shortstop. Jennings will be next, and then Longoria. Hot shot, base hit through the hole. Guyer's aboard.
Tell you what, when Scott Kazmir misses with the changeup, the Rays are not. That's what Beckham hit out for a 3-run homer. That's what Brandon Guyer just roped into left field.
Desmond Jennings. Strike 1. Jennings 0 for 2. He's grounded out and struck out. Altuve still a little bit to the first base side of the bag at second. He was just on the shortstop side the first time when Jennings was out on a ground ball. 1-1 now.
And now awaiting further instruction after the aborted bunt attempt by Desmond Jennings, looking maybe to try to push one. Desmond, I think, is thinking, if I can get this past Kazmir and have a base hit.
There's a line drive into center. That's going to fall for a base hit. First 2 men aboard in the 5th. So Jennings is aboard for Evan Longoria.
Well, this is exactly what the Rays needed to do to answer the Astros. Now you got to push in a run or two.
Well, this is exactly the scenario in the 5th inning when Kazmir pitched against the Rays at the Trop, when he gave up the 3-run home run to Evan Longoria. Geyer led off with a base hit. Souza was in the lineup then and reached on what turned out to be a sacrifice and an error. Jennings has reached on the base hit. So men at first and second here, 2 men on, and Evan Longoria takes the pitch, and that's in there for a strike. Evan already 2 for 2 tonight. Gives him 4 for 12 in his career against Scott Kazmir. Foul the other way. 0-2. And a cut to miss. Well, Kazmir got ahead of him and then came in with maybe his best fastball of the night to strike him out.
Well, the game plan here on Evan Longoria, they tried this in his last at bat, and he was able to just poke one out into center field, kind of a little bloop, but climbed the ladder with a good firm fastball and beat the swing, and that's exactly what he did.
Strikeout number 6 for Kazmir. Now it's Logan Forsythe. Well, you get the feeling right here. A 2-run ball game right now, 4-2 the Rays. This is a key spot in this game for both the Rays and for Kazmir.
Well, he gave up those 4 runs early, has settled down a little bit since then. His offense has started to chip away, and you're right. With the first two runners aboard, you got to get something here, an answer. Yeah, there really is nothing more demoralizing on the bench when you fall behind early, you chip away, and then all of a sudden they push it back out to that lead again, and you're like, come on, all that work, and we're right back where we started.
Yeah, that's what the Rays are trying to do now, trying to reassert the offense a bit. Low covered up there by Castro. A 2-1 count to Logan Forsythe. Kazmir slowing down the pace with these 2 runners aboard. They go, and the pitch is fouled out of play.
You kind of wonder here what took them so long. Geyer and Jennings, they both can run. The Rays, we've seen in the past, when they have the lead, they are very aggressive. And they've been a big fan of the double steal.
Now it's 2-2 on Logan Forsythe. Full count. Fastball wound up wide. And the 3-2. Runners go, and the pitch is tapped foul. The Rays 2.5 back in the wild card race. Chasing Toronto and Baltimore, Los Angeles, Texas, Minnesota. Crowd in that wild card chase right now. Pickoff play at second, the ball loose. That had a chance to be very close. Altuve tried to scoop it.
Well, and that's what you're afraid of. Kazmir has struggled throwing to bases. And that would have been an absolutely very close play. The throw low. You see Altuve helps himself as he's not moving towards the bag. So Scott Kazmir doesn't have to make that throw to a moving target. He was almost holding Geyer on.
Runners go, and a foul ball again back over the screen. Fouled another fastball. Kazmir on the verge of making his 90th pitch of the night. They go again, and it's ball 4 upstairs. The bases are loaded for the Rays with 1 out. So a golden opportunity with Asdrubal Cabrera coming up. See Brent Strom, the pitching coach, with his back to you there on the bullpen phone. And here's Cabrera. He came into the game hitting .298 against left-handed pitching. But against Kazmir coming into this game, he was just 1 for 15. He's 1 for 2 off him tonight. Shoots it deep into left center field. Gomez over to make the catch. Tag at third, and Geyer's going to score. And Gomez got a good break on that one to run it down.
Yeah, that was a tremendous jump, and that's some of that defense, Dwayne, that you were talking about. Very, very good. That ball off the bat looked like it had a chance to get into the gap, and if it does, this game gets blown open. That ball is stroked. Kazmir hopping because he knows that ball was hit hard. And watch Gomez curling away from him, and he tracks it down, and then a strong throw, and he's going to keep Desmond Jennings out there at second base. But the Rays do get a run.
So it's a 3-run ball game now. Cabrera picking up his 2nd run batted in of the night. And here's Beckham. He has the other 3 runs batted in when he hit one out in the first. Fouled out of play. Strike 1. Beckham out pitcher first his last time. Forsythe at first, Jennings on second. One and one. It's Tony Sipp, another lefty up in the bullpen. Take down and in. On a fastball, 2-1. He scored 4 times in the first. They had a threat underway in the 3rd inning, but a double play ball and a comebacker by Beckham ended that threat. Now a run home in the 5th with 2 men on, 2 outs. Beckham granted time by the plate umpire Joe West.
Yeah, all that work done in the 1st inning. And it's starting to mount again here in the 5th.
Pitch in on him, and it's popped up but headed for the seats. A foul ball out of play. And we're going to go to 2-2. Kazmir slowed it down in the 3rd when he found himself in a bit of trouble. 2 men on with 2 outs. He's taking his time here in the 5th. Liner into center field, charged by Gomez. Almost got away from him, and a leap to grab it for the 3rd out. Rays get 1, lead 2. It's now 5-2.
Astros 5-2 heading into the bottom of the 5th. I was asking a lot of the Rays and skipper Kevin Cash before the game, what comes to mind when you look at this Houston lineup? One specific word continued to come up: power, which makes sense because the Astros lead, going into tonight's game, the Astros lead the majors in home runs with 161, and 8 Houston players have 10 or more home runs this season. Steve Geltz said that it's fun to pitch against this Houston Astros team. Dwayne VA, I guess it'd be fun to pitch against them if you're getting outs and they're not hitting bombs off of you.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt, Emily. Home runs are not fun to give up. At this, that's why we said earlier in the game, the fact that this team does hit a lot of home runs means that there's a lot of holes in those swings, and you can exploit them. They strike out a lot, too.
And there's the home road split. We mentioned the 93 home runs at home, and they have taken advantage of playing at home to the tune of 40-19 because they're 11 games under 500 on the road.
Yeah, how about that? You typically do not see, a difference like that. 11 below on the road and 21 above at home.
Jason Castro leading off the bottom of the 5th. The count of 2-2. Well, they hit 163 home runs total last year. They have 161 right now. Castro has 10 home runs. He had 14 last year. 28-year-old catcher. And now the count is full. The other thing this team has done, they're going to hit home runs, but they pitched a lot better, both in the rotation and out of the bullpen. They have the third best bullpen ERA in the American League, and they're third among starters. Line drive, and right there is Beckham. Beckham with the Rays playing the shift. Right spot. One away.
And he's playing a deep second base. You see where he's at in the shift. This ball was absolutely crushed. You see it catches Tim Beckham more than Tim Beckham caught it. But how many times have we seen Rays defensive players already in this game in the perfect spot? Don't have to move. Just make the play.
103.7 off the bat. That's why he was handcuffed. Altuve takes a strike. Your position right where you want to be, and that ball still gets on you in a hurry at 103.7. It's a ball and a strike. (14 of 19 in the first pitch strike department now. Base hit, couple of pops to Dyer. Altuve has his first hit tonight. One on with one out. Follow the Rays all season with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Here's Preston Tucker. Strike. Tucker has gone out pitcher first and is fouled out to the first baseman Nava. Big cut and a miss. 0-2. One on, one out in the 5th inning. Pop. Third base side foul and out of play. It's a few rows back to the dugout. .70 pitches tonight for Ramirez. He made 70 pitches in 7 innings last Tuesday against Atlanta. One ball, 2 strikes.
Nice job there by Kurt Casale. Jose Altuve. Good speed. He's got 31 stolen bases on the season, and keep him from getting up into scoring position with a nice block.
Now it's 2-2. The Rays defense Tucker pretty much in a conventional approach. They have Beckham and Cabrera hoping to get a ground ball here. And boy, there's quite a pickup by Casale there. What a save.
Yeah, you couldn't get a first baseman to do it any better. A backhanded scoop.
Well, after getting ahead of Tucker, the count is now full. Runner goes, and the pitch hit on the ground through the right side. Now Altuve will scamper over to third. Tucker found the hole that time. First and third with one out.
That was the one spot you could go with the ground ball because of the runner being held on by Daniel Nava. He's over on first base, and so there's a big gap between the hole and Tim Beckham. He gets on top of it, he chops it, and then look at all that room. And he curls it right through. And of course, with Altuve running, he's going to get to third easily. And now you start to get into the power guys.
Carlos Correa, the young shortstop, is due up. The Rays do have action in the bullpen. Steve Geltz. Three-run ball game, 5-2. Houston will be getting the tying run to the plate here with one out in the fifth. See the pitch count. 20 in the second inning, 17 here. He's averaged a little under 15 pitches per inning on the year. Ramirez in a spot now. Too low. For it, makes the catch and managed to keep that ball in his glove. There was a lot of white down near the heel of the glove on that one.
Yeah, he caught that not in the that was not up in the webbing. That was right down in the palm. You're right. Pop up, you got to hustle over your shoulder. And yeah, he caught that right down at the bottom of the glove. Well, you see some of these pop out, then that wanted to.
Two gone. Jed Lowry. The ball, no strikes to Lowry. Two and 0. Well, a big out to get Correa for the second out. Carlos Gomez is on deck. Tapper foul. 2-1. Ramirez out there with a 3-run lead, but you really feel as if he's pitching for his life here in this matchup with Lowry.
He is. I mean, anything goes awry here, you know he's going to be coming out of the ball game, and this is probably going to be, maybe his last inning anyway. So he's letting it all hang out here as well. He should.
Ground ball right side. Beckham's got it, and the toss to first. He gets out of the jam, leaving two. The Rays lead 5-2. Got a base hit by Asdrubal Cabrera in the first, driving in a run, and then Tim Beckham belting a 3-run home run, his 6th home run of the year, to make it 4-0. Carlos Gomez scored in the second inning for Houston. The Astros got another run when Evan Gattis hit a ball using his arms and hit it out the opposite way. The Rays countered with a run on a fly ball in the 5th to make it 5-2. And we go to the 6th inning with Daniel Nava to lead off. Nava, Kiermaier, and Casale. That's a strike. Daniel Nava making the start at first base. He has played there before with the Boston Red Sox. He made 19 starts over there. And he's in the lineup here against Kazmir, batting right-handed. Singled his first time up and was out 3rd to 1st in the 4th. Nava fouling that 0-2 pitch. So this next one from Kazmir will be pitch number 100. Kazmir, a 15-game winner last year. The year before, he went 10-9 with Cleveland. And the year before that was pitching in Independent League Baseball for the Sugarland Skeeters. There's a shot foul. You talk about a guy who had great promise with the Mets, and the Rays got him. Distinguished himself there. Found himself with the Angels and essentially pitched himself out of their picture, and was in independent ball, and then back with Cleveland, a 15-game winner last year, and coming in with a 2.12 ERA this year. Quite a story of the left-hander.
Yeah, you really got to tip your hat to him. I mean, just the determination to go from the big league life and success in the big leagues to go to independent ball and work your way back and then perform like he is right now. That's outstanding.
A ball and 2 strikes. A foul ball in the barrel end of the bat, chipping away. So Nava needs a new bat.
Anytime you have that, hollowed out at the end, and you catch a cue shot, and that's what you're going to get. A shard, shiv.
He's got 4 in the first, another run in the 5th inning. They've left 4 men on base tonight. And Nava with the new bat.
Did Joe West pocket that shank? I think he did.
Evidence. Back toward the middle. Altuve tried to backhand it but could not hold it. The ball got by Kazmir. Then Altuve had a shot, and Nava has his second hit.
And he had a real shot. First of all, it's up. It gets by Kazmir right there a little bit late, but then here's the backhand, but the ball he was not able to secure it. That ball not into the pocket of the glove. And it comes out. Rays with another leadoff base runner.
Here's Kevin Kiermaier. It's a pitch low. 1 ball and no strikes. There's 5 runs, 9 hits. Kiermaier takes it for ball 2. Checks on this one, too low. Runner at first and a 3-0 count on Kiermaier. Josh Fields throwing in the bullpen. And there's ball 4 on 4 pitches. Kiermaier heads to first, and Nava moves up to second. The Rays with 2 men on. Brent Strom, the pitching coach for Houston, heads to the mound. Follow the Rays on Snapchat by following the username Rays or snapping a picture of the Rays graphic on screen. Follow along as the Rays post exclusive daily clips of batting practice, watch parties, games, and much more. Follow Rays on Snapchat. Well, Kurt Casale twice has been called out on strikes. The Rays with a 3-run lead and men at first and second. Nava at second, Kiermaier at first. First pitch lifted into right field. Rasmus back to make the catch. Tag. Nava heads to third, and the Rays will have men on the corners.
Well, deep enough. Deep enough out into right field. Rasmus, no chance to do anything about Nava. And you get the runner over, and now you try to get him in.
And that's going to be it for Kazmir. A.J. Hinch out to make the pitching change with the top of the order coming up. Reports from around the country for the latest from NFL training camps, and get you ready for a full night of MLB action. Catch America's pregame every weekday at 5 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Josh Fields will be the new pitcher following Scott Kazmir, and the Rays will counter with John Jaso to pinch hit. 42nd appearance of the year for Fields. 3-1 with a 2.27 ERA.
Well, a strong bullpen, but you've got a strong hitter up at the plate too in Jaso.
Strike one. So Geyer lifted. He had singled and scored in 3 at-bats, and now Jaso trying to add to this 3-run lead with this Houston lineup and the power it flashes. You don't feel comfortable with any lead per se. And there's strike 2.
I'll tell you, the lead that I feel comfortable with is the one after the bottom of the 9th. That one you can feel pretty secure about, and that's what the Rays are trying to work towards right now.
So fouls it back.
A good firm fastball shown here by Josh Fields, and I'll tell you what, he gets every ounce of use from his mechanics, his body size. He's really, you see that ball come out of the glove, reaches back, and gives you everything he's got.
A ball, 2 strikes. Jaso's had 1 career at bat against him, 0 for 1.
That hair doesn't move anymore. It's just frozen in place.
And the move to first.
It's becoming petrified.
Petrified and petrifying. Base hit the other way. That will pick up the run. Nava scores, and boy, what a great job Jaso continues to do at the plate. Down in the count, he goes the other way with an RBI single.
Well, you keep feeding him that fastball, he will make the adjustment, and he did there. Shortened up the swing and just took it the other way. This ball's away, and he takes it away. Outstanding job. Absolutely right.
So the Rays again have a 4-run lead. It's now 6-2. And here's Desmond Jennings. Strike. Tap charged by Correa out at second, and that's the only one they get. Altuve came across with an eye toward third. But Kiermaier not rounding the bag. Jennings reaches on a fielder's choice.
And you know he wanted to. That's where you've got to listen to your third base coach. Charlie Montoyo is watching this play unfold out in front of him. So he can tell Kiermaier, hey, listen, you hang tight here. Don't take a big aggressive round, because if you do, they're going to throw behind you and get you. That's good work on both parts. Kiermaier listening, Montoyo directing.
Here's Evan Longoria. It's it low. Evan 2 for 3 tonight with a run scored. Popped up, and a foul ball headed for the stands. Rays got 4 in the first, 1 run in the 5th, and so far another run in the 6th inning. Erasmo Ramirez allowing a couple of runs tonight through 5.
Wow. Excuse me, but what was that? I mean, that was an 81-mile-an-hour yacker. Boy, really good tilt on this breaking ball. Look at that thing. I mean, late.
Well, they'll try it again.
Why not?
Still 1-2. You know, Fields showing great step. That fastball plenty firm, and with some action on that fastball, and then the curveball. We've seen a couple of those here.
I bet he elevates here. Yep.
And a cut and a miss. So Longoria out on strikes on the fastball up. Rays lead 6-2. Earlier in the game, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag #SSDataStrongFan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by T-Mobile. John Jaso, after pinch hitting and driving in a run, stays on to play right field. Carlos Gomez takes the first pitch for a ball. Jaso in right. It's now 1-1. We've seen John Jaso in left. This is the first time we've ever seen him in right field, because it's the first time he's ever been out there in right field.
And so if we see him go to the card, we're at this point not sure if it's for defensive alignment or if it's directions to the position.
Oh boy.
Boy, there's a shot to deep center. Kiermaier to the hill, and just in front of the hill out there before he actually had to step onto it. He made the catch. Boy, Gomez hit that one a mile.
You could tell by the contact. The contact was loud. And Kiermaier, listen, you're not going to get a ball game without a jump. And there it is. There's your little hop, the obligatory hop.
Colby Rasmus takes the pitch, and that's a strike. That Hill, by the way, they have plans on making that disappear. That was originally implemented when they built this ballpark, and Tal Smith, who started his career in baseball with the Cincinnati Reds, and Crosley Field had a sloping terrace instead of a warning track. And so that hill was based on that idea to have a unique feature here, and it's, as you could see, 436 feet to the wall out there. And pitchers who obviously have that short left field fence at their backs also have that to their backs, and they can pitch to that if you can locate. Pitch to deep fly balls to center. And so that's going to go away when they redo this surface. 2-2 the count here on Rasmus. Rasmus fouls this one back. So the hill will disappear and the fence is going to come in. I'm not sure if they've determined exactly the distance it will be to center field, but because of the short left field here, that center field being as deep, help the pitcher out once in a while. Ground ball to the right side, and Beckham makes the pickup on it. 2 gone. Two outs in the 6th. There's left field. You see just 315 down the line. And that distance short necessarily because of the train station, and this in some ways like the old ballparks built within the configurations of a city block, and so left field necessarily had to be short, center field deeper. Gaddis a big cut, he misses for a strike. This remains one of our favorite among the newer ballparks. One and one to count.
When I came into the ballpark today, I came in a different way and went out and sat in the second section and just, you know, took care of some phone calls, stuff like that. Great seats, right on top of the action. It really is a tremendous ballpark.
Well, our vantage point is cozy here too.
Yeah.
To the action. Good sight lines here. They put a lot in this ballpark in about as small an area downtown as you can do it. So for a lot of reasons it is recommended as an inspiration to future ballparks. 3-1 now. So here's Ramirez working 2 outs into the 6th in the mid-90s in pitch count. Oh, he got him. That's a strike, and it's 3-2. Gaddis thought he had walked with that pitch on the corner. Let's take a look.
And he may have wanted to just keep that to himself. That ball may have been off the plate. Joe West called it a strike, and as he was chirping at Joe West, the look on Joe West's face was, listen, son, if he throws it, you better be swinging at it.
Yeah. You hit him, I'll call him, is his motto. And now a shot deflected off Ramirez, and a wide throw by Beckham on the recovery, and Gaddis is going to reach. And that ball smoked right back through the middle.
I mean, it's an adventure out there at second base for Tim Beckham. We've already seen one throw that was about 7 feet wide of the bag at first. We saw a pop-up that almost squirted out of his glove, and then this should have been about as routine as it gets. But again, Footwork not good. Way wide on Nava. And another error.
Well, and you can see the excitement of the moment causes him to push that play. He had all kinds of time.
He could have ran that ball halfway there like a pitcher and flipped it to him. I vote for no more Logan Forsythe off your feet days.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Logan serving as a designated hitter. Jim Hickey spending some time on the mound with Ramirez. Luis Valbuena is going to be the hitter. He got a couple of fly balls tonight, including one to center field in the second that was caught by Kiermaier. And for a moment, Valbuena seemingly forgot how deep it is to center on that fly ball.
Yeah, there have been a couple. You think about that were drilled, and you're right. He flipped the bat. It's 436 with a hill.
A ball, no strikes. One and one. Steve Geltz up in the bullpen. He was up earlier. And 2 balls and a strike. There's a strike. 2-2. Two errors tonight committed by Beckham. 7 on the year and 5 at second base. And there's ball 3. Trying to change up, and Valbuena was not fooled by that pitch. Three-two, runner goes. Ball 4, down and in. So with 2 outs, 2 men on, Jason Castro will be the hitter, and that's going to be the end of the evening for Erasmo Ramirez. He'll leave with 2 outs and 2 on in the 6th. The error in the walk made 102 pitches and leaves with a couple of men on base. And he'll give way to Steve Geltz.
Well, this is going to be, obviously a big hitter for Steve Geltz. The Rays have been able to push that lead back out to 4. But remember how the Rays got that 4-run lead. It was with 2 outs in the first inning, seemingly just a very quiet beginning to the ball game, and then all of a sudden the Rays put it together and scored 4 runs. Same thing in this inning. Looked like Erasmo Ramirez was on his way to closing out this inning. You get the error, you get the walk, and now it becomes a little dicey.
Jason Castro. He has walked and is lined out to second. Steve Geltz worked Friday night in Arlington, 1 inning, and gave up a run on a home run. First pitch is a strike. In on Castro. Got it in and he fouled it back. Steve Geltz said the other day he's happy to have those appearances, but in the spring never dreamed that he would be leading the American League in appearances.
And he's been Mr. Do-It-All for the Rays. He has fulfilled a number of roles in that bullpen and even as a starting pitcher a couple of times.
Upstairs, 1 and 2. Well, he's trying to close out this inning for Ramirez. And that is strike 3 call. He gets Castro looking. So 2 men left. We'll take another look at the strikeout pitch. And through 6, the Rays hold a 4-run lead. History presented by Geico. It was on this day in 2004, 19-year-old B.J. Upton belted his first major league home run, becoming the first teenager to go deep since the Dodgers' Adrian Beltre in 1999. Tonight in Houston, we go to the 7th inning. Rays with 6 runs on 10 hits, and they lead 6-2. They'll be facing a new pitcher, left-hander Tony Sipp, in the game, following Scott Kazmir and Josh Fields.
Well, a strikeout an inning, an opponent's average under 200, and an ERA of 2.34. Tony Sipp getting the job done.
Logan Forsythe leads off against him, and the pitch is a strike. Cabrera next, and then Beckham. One. New York batting in the bottom of the 7th. The Yankees and the Twins are now tied 7-7. Seattle and Texas tied, bottom of the 8th, and Arlington at 3. Ball 2 strikes. Angels and the White Sox in the middle of the 2nd inning in Anaheim, and there's no score in that game. Baltimore knocking off Oakland 4-2. Into the dirt, and he did go.
And that's not something that you're going to see very much of. Forsythe on a pitch that far out of the zone. And this ball out of the hand of Sipp, low, and you could see well out in front, a few feet out in front of home plate, and just got caught.
That'll be Asdrubal Cabrera with a couple of runs batted in. Single homer run in the first, got a run home on a fly ball into center field in the 5th inning. Reaching and pops it up. Might stay playable. Foul ball will. And that's out number 2. Now Buena takes care of that. Well, tomorrow night here in the 2nd game of this series, going to be Jake Odorizzi going to the hill. Tomorrow's starters presented by Chevron. Scott Feldman will do the pitching for Houston. Feldman 5-5. And Jake Odorizzi, looking for his 7th win, comes in 6-6. Beckham takes a low fastball. 1 ball, no strikes. Pitching matchup tomorrow right there. Scott Feldman and Jake Odorizzi. One and one to count. Just enough to foul that one back. It's 1-2. Sipp is 32 years old. He was in 56 games a year ago. Ahead of Beckham.
Had to go through all the pitches to get to where he wanted to be.
Ooh. And Beckham takes the breaking ball too low. It's 2-2 now.
Well, the one thing that Tony Sipp brings to the table, what allows him to be able to come in and face the right-handed hitters is changeup, and the fact that he has a pretty good one.
Ground ball, third base. Lowry makes the play. Beckham's out, and so are the Rays. Middle of the 7th from Houston. Rays lead 6-2. By Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays opening this 4-game series in Houston, and the Rays are up 6-2, a big 4-run first. Got the Rays off and running tonight. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Houston will have the top of its order. Jose Altuve leads it off with Steve Geltz out there on the hill. Geltz came on to get Castro looking, leaving 2 men on base in the 6th. Altuve lines it to third. A sizzler caught by Longoria down there. Boy, Altuve hit that ball as hard as you can hit it. And Longoria somehow got that glove up there to make the catch. What a shot. And what a catch on the reaction by Longoria.
Well, I mean, you're playing third base, and those guys turn and burn. You see he's already playing even with the bag, so he even cuts down further on his reaction time, but still gets the job done.
Well, Tucker takes the strike. Tucker 1 out of 3. Well, it's so important to get that leadoff man late in games, and especially on a ball hit as hard as Altuve hit it. Well, that ball was going to be rattling around in the corner. Now 0-2 to Preston Tucker. A foul ball. And the count remains 2 strikes. Popped up. It's going to be a foul ball and out of play. fly ball into left. Jennings waits for this one. So 2 outs. Carlos Correa. He is 1 for 3. Pitch is a strike to Correa. One and one. Jones came on and stranded 2 men in the 6th inning, and he's been so good at that this year. 2. Giltz has inherited 23 runners now this year, including the 2 tonight, and only 2 of those have scored.
That's impressive. That once again, that's why he gets used so frequently and in tough spots.
And he strikes out Correa. 1, 2, 3. Go the Astros in the 7th. Rays lead 6-2. Game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Rays put up 4 in the first, 3 coming on the Tim Beckham home run. And they have a 4-run lead, 6-2 as we go to the 8th. Still facing the left-hander Tony Sipp. Daniel Nava is 2 for 3 tonight. Hitting right-handed here against Sipp. There's a strike. Oh, 2. The off-speed pitch. Minnesota batting in the top of the 8th, tied with the Yankees. 7-7. Texas coming into bat in the bottom of the 9th inning, tied with Seattle 3-3. The Rays lead in the 8th, 6-2. Ball 2 strikes. Baltimore win over Oakland. Chris Tillman got the victory, 9-7, and Sonny Gray, the loser, now 12-5.
Sonny Gray, the AL ERA leader. You could have the top 2 go down here tonight.
And the pitch is a strike. Nava caught looking. Here's what's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, the pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Jake Odorizzi goes to the mound, and we'll hear from him. And Arestas will break down Tampa native Preston Tucker and his swing. His power swing from Tucker.
No, he does not get cheated. You're right about that. You see the Rays here tonight, you wonder if that's going to continue throughout the series, trying to beat them with heaters up above the hands. You see that a lot. You see the same thing with the way that the Astro pitchers have been going after Evan Longoria.
Kiermaier walked in the 6th. He's 0 for 2. A little chop right side. Nobody's going to get there except Kiermaier. Albuena and sit in front of the bag about 10 feet, chatting while Kiermaier went sliding by.
First base has been an issue for the Houston Astros, and right there's no communication. One guy has to go get the ball, the other one has to go to the bag. You cannot waste any time with Kiermaier running. And they meet up, hang out, and Kiermaier gets to first base.
Kiermaier, 13 of 15 running, has an infield hit. Kirk Casale looking for his first hit. He's 0 for 3. Rays scored 4 in the 1st. They got another run in the 5th. And then the additional run in the 6th inning. There's a long one down the left field line, but it's hooking foul. Good distance, but well foul. Back to first with a strike to count on Casale. One ball, one strike. Casale right now 0 for 3 and 3 for his last 35. Looks it into right field. Rasmus takes care of that one. 2 away. We'll get back to the top of the order, and John Jaso, who pinch hit for Geyer and then stayed in the game to make his debut in right field. Real bad here in the 8th inning, and he'll be facing a left-hander in Tony Sipp. So John Jaso faces the lefty. Fastball is down. 1 ball, no strikes. Covered by Castro. 2-0. Catches the zone at the knees. It's 2-1. Jeremy Hellickson beat Pittsburgh tonight for the Diamondbacks. He's 9-8.
Jeremy Hellickson sighting.
Arizona 4, the Pirates 1. Three and 1. The count.
What was the time of game?
They've stopped posting it.
Hey, the Diamondbacks can play some slow games, and we know how slow Jeremy Hellickson can be from time to time, especially with base runners. Although, giving them 1 run didn't sound like there were too many. I'm getting word that the 4-1 ball game took 3.5 hours.
And ball 4, so Jaso draws the walk against the southpaw. And so with 2 men on, Desmond Jennings will get a chance to face the lefty.
Well, John Jaso making an adjustment in his last at-bat to line a single to left field and then showing good plate discipline here and taking the walk off the tough lefty Sipp. And that gets a runner into scoring position as the Rays have continued to keep the pressure on the Astros all night long.
Well, Jennings singled in the 5th.
Boy, Tony, come on, T.
Pitch. Breaking ball caught the corner. Jennings had a triple and a run scored yesterday. And it's 0-2. Reaching it out in front. Jennings had an infield hit in the game Saturday in 2 at-bats and came back Friday with a 3-for-4 night, including a run batted in. And he's out on strikes. 3 pitches got him. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Rays 6, Houston 2.
Another solid performance from Erasmo Ramirez. Be sure to stay with us after the game for Rays Live, the post-game show presented by Checkers. Hopefully Tampa Bay will hold on to take this from the Houston Astros in Game 1 of this 4-game set and snap their 3-game losing streak. I'll gather some interviews from the clubhouse. Kevin Cash, Erasmo Ramirez, and then Rich and Arestis will be holding things down from the studio. I want an over-under on how many times Erasmo is going to say, I'm happy. I'm just happy about the way I performed tonight. Dwayne B.A., what do we got?
We have Brandon Gomes on the hill now. Erasmo Ramirez 5 2/3, and Steve Geltz in an inning and a third. So Brandon Gomes making his 43rd appearance.
And I'm going to go with 7. C.
Oh, you're thinking the over and under.
Yeah. Well, you covered Brandon Gomes, so I'll just move to the question.
First pitch into Jen Lowry is a strike. Bottom of the 8th inning underway. It's a given with Ramirez. Nava out in right field. Loney's taken over at first. 1-1 to count. Game in the bottom of the 8th. It's 2-1. Two balls, 2 strikes. Fly ball, some hang time, and how about that? Longoria gets out there. Kiermaier was coming in from center field. Cabrera and Longoria out there, and Evan made a fine catch on that ball.
Yeah, that's a very, very tough angle, and Evan actually made it look easy. It was so smooth. Over the shoulder, over the head. He just reaches the glove out. You know, you lose sight of that baseball as it crosses over the top of your head and hits to the glove. So that glove's got to be in the right spot, and boy, did he make that look like a piece of cake.
It's Carlos Gomez. A Rays shift for him. Pitch is a strike. Big cut and a miss. 0-2. Carlos Gomez out on strikes. Two up, 2 down against Brandon Gomes. Obi Rasmus settling in there in the batter's box. He is 0 for 3 tonight. The other way, foul. Now the other way. Oh, 2. Rays jumped to a 4-run lead in the first inning. They've led throughout the evening. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Holmes was in the game at Arlington on Saturday. Had a 1-2-3/8 and picked up a couple strikeouts. Trying to duplicate that here in the 8th inning tonight. Rasmus lays off the pitch low. It is 2-2.
Well, and you know, when you start to think about the Rays bullpen, you've got McGee, Boxberger at the back end. The emergence of Xavier Cedeno into more meaningful innings and role. Geltz, you need Gomes hot too if the Rays are going to work that bullpen like they want to.
And strike 3 called on Rasmus. So again, a perfect 8th with a couple strikeouts. 6-2 Rays. Game 2 of the series tomorrow on Sun Sports. Our coverage begins at 7:30. It will be Jake Odorizzi on the hill after his 7th win of the year. Rays tonight looking for their first win on this road trip. And here are the matchups. Scott Feldman opposes Jake Odorizzi tomorrow night. Dallas Keuchel and Nathan Carnes on Wednesday. And McHugh and Archer here on Thursday night. So 4 night games here in Houston. Oliver Perez will be the new pitcher for Houston. He is their 4th of the night, another lefty out of their bullpen.
30 in the 3rd innings and 39 strikeouts. That ERA under 3. Yeah, how about that? 4 night games. You finish that game on Thursday night, then you fly to Oakland. It's going to be a late arrival, and strap it on that night.
As we prepare for late night with the Rays to wrap up this road trip. First pitch, Longoria goes after the fastball and fouls it away. Perez in at 93 on that one.
So think about that. Late night with the Rays, and we're punch drunk from the night before. Good times.
That's must-see TV. Oh, 2 the count to Longoria. Having 2 for 4 tonight. A couple singles, a run scored, and a couple strikeouts. The screen. White Sox have tied the Angels in the middle of the fourth in Anaheim. That's a 1-1 ball game. And Texas beat Seattle 4-3. And a base hit to the left of Correa against the shift and through Longoria's third hit of the night.
Well, that's how you have to beat the shift. If you're going to hit into the teeth of it, you've got to smoke the baseball. And you get the room cut down in between fielders. They don't have to cover as much ground. And so if you don't hit them right at them, you've got to hit it hard. And he did just that.
Forsythe lifting one deep into right field. Back to the corner. Rasmus. Oh, he drops that ball. Had it in his glove and dropped it. Longoria advances to second, and Rasmus will be charged with his third error of the year.
Boy, you don't see that very often. I mean, Colby Rasmus, a big league outfielder out there, dropping a fly ball. It looked like he was a little unsure heading back if that was going to get close to the wall, but then he set himself up to make a catch and just didn't.
You know, that ball seemed to carry on him more than he thought, but he did get to his spot.
Yep. Well, did you see right there, actually, before he goes back for the ball, he took a quick peek at the wall over there in left field. Then he comes back for it, and, well, that look says it all.
There's Cabrera taking a strike. So the Rays with a couple runners against the tall left-hander. Cabrera's behind in the count now. 0-2. Shot foul the other way. They're in extra innings in New York. The Twins and the Yankees 7-7. And the Orioles had already beaten Oakland in Baltimore 4-2.
And for the Orioles, that's their fourth straight win. They're a full game up now on the Angels for that second wild card. Angels in a free fall. They've lost 3 in a row.
Cabrera with a couple of runs batted in tonight. He was part of the 4-run first. Well, right now, with those finals in, there are the Cubs and the breakout in the American League wild card race. Toronto and then Baltimore up by a game on the Angels and Texas. Rays started the night 2.5 back, and they will need a win to keep that position. Rays trying to get back to 500 after their 59th win of the year. There's a base hit punched through the middle. Longoria on his way to the plate. The Rays tack on another run. They make it 7-2 as Cabrera drives in his third run. And another multi-hit game for Cabrera, who continues to be very hot.
Well, this Rays offense, you know, Listen, they left some runs out on the field the last couple of games in Texas, in Arlington. But, you know, they just continue to pound out double-digit hits. It's just a regular occurrence now. I mean, they get there easily. 13 more here tonight. That guy has been scathing hot for 3-4 weeks now.
And Beckham, who gave the Rays a quick 3 with a home in the first. That's his hit tonight, his 6th home run of the year. High-def highlight presented by H.H. Gregg. The home run coming on an 0-2 pitch. It never seems to bother him when he's behind in the count. Off the front of the Rays dugout there. Rays with 2 men on. Forsythe at second. Cabrera at first. Just a bit of that one to stay alive at 0-2.
I love the reaction out there of Oliver Perez after that foul ball. He spun towards center field as if to say, what do I got to do to get this guy out of there? I'm trying everything. Nothing's working. The inning's not going well. Complete frustration.
Well, 3 base runners, and in between 2 hits, the drop fly ball in right field. That one stayed wide. Now the count will even. It's 2-2. Houston got Perez from Arizona. This one popped into shallow right. Altuve out, and in front of Rasmus, Altuve makes the catch. So it took a while, but Beckham finally retired. It's 1 away. Well, this is the 4th outing for Perez since Houston got him 10 days ago, and they've all been short outings, 2/3 of an inning or less. So this, it would seem that at least in time, his longest outing of the year in a Houston uniform. And here's Daniel Nava, who's 2 for 4. Shot, base hit into center. Forsythe is going to be held. The throw up the line, and the bases are going to be loaded.
I'll tell you what, Daniel Nava has hit a couple of bullets right back up the middle here in tonight's game from the right side of the plate, and that one was loud. That one got out to Carlos Gomez so quickly there was no chance to score the run. That's a shot.
Yeah, hitting the ball as hard as he's hit it tonight from the right side. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Why were you going all left-handed? You swing the bat like that. My goodness.
Kevin Kiermaier with the bases loaded. It's wide. Kiermaier with a walk and an infield hit tonight. Officially is 1 for 3. Two balls, no strikes.
Come on, Hope. Come on, kid. Good boy. Good boy.
It's 2-1. Take the count to 2-2. Kiermaier just a bit of that one. Keep the at bat going with the bases loaded. 1 out, a run home. Kiermaier had 3 hits in yesterday's game in Arlington. Third time he's had a 3-hit game this year. This one is popped up. Foul territory. Lowry makes the catch. So 2 outs. And the hitter will be Curt Casali. Casali 0 for 4 tonight. It's the only spot in the lineup for the Rays tonight not to reach base. This guy. Pitch is down. A ball, no strikes. And a base hit up the middle. Forsythe will score. Cabrera heads to the plate. The Rays add 2 more. It's a 3-run ninth as Casali drives in 2. And the Rays make it a 9-2 ball game.
Wow, they are just teeing off here on Perez. Not stopping. That's been the theme. They were quiet for a couple of innings after the first, but boy, they've heated it up. And how many shots have we seen back up the middle?
So the Rays have 9 runs and 15 hits. And here is James Loney. Loney in the leadoff spot when he took over at first base. The pitch is a strike. Eighth man to come to the plate for the Rays in the 9th. 2. Missed the slider. a ball and 2 strikes. And a cut and a miss. Zaloni out on strikes. The Rays send 8 men to the plate and make this a 9-2 ball game. With another doubleheader as the Giants look to improve their playoff chances as they take on the wild card leading Pirates, followed by the Rangers battling the Tigers. Coverage begins at 3:30 p.m. Eastern right here on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Well, with the Rays leading 9-2, Eddie Romero will get an appearance here in the 9th inning. Rays made their 125th roster move since opening day, sending Richie Schaefer down and recalling the lefty Romero, whose first pitch here to Evan Gattis is a ball. Bottom 3 in the Texas order due up here. It's way wide.
Well, when you get called up, you better come ready to go. And Eddie Romero immediately fired into this game. And we know he's got a good arm. It's can he command his stuff?
And he's missed on 3 straight. That one hit at 96, but out of the zone. And he walks Gattis on 4 pitches, and that continues to be the issue with Romero. Jake Marisnick will pinch hit here with a runner at first. Marisnick right-handed against the lefty, and there's a strike from Romero. Popped up, it's headed out of play. 0-2. Yankees have beaten the Twins 8-7 in 10. Another pitch in on him, and he fouls that one back. The strikeout. Marisnik, the first out of the inning.
That's the way to bounce back. Get back in the zone and put a hitter away. Now do it 2 more times and get out of here.
Well, Jason Castro he's going to be lifted with a power right-handed bat of Chris Carter. One on with 1 out. The pitch is a strike. One and one. Late there at 98. 1 and 2. So if we continue to see the great stuff that Romero has, it's a matter of whether he can consistently throw strikes and command it. 2 and 2 now to Carter.
Right there, 99 miles an hour. That's why he's so tantalizing, because of that stuff. We just saw the good breaking ball, but you've got to be able to get it in the strike zone consistently. That's an easy 99, 98. Big arm.
Outside. Full count. Just a little piece of that one. So we'll see another 3-2 pitch. And there is strike 3 called. 98. So 2 strikeouts following the leadoff walk.
Now this is what you're talking about here. Well, look at him just bury that fastball in the inside corner. Chris Carter knew it. Not a chance.
Jose Altuve has 1 hit, a single in the 5th, hit a shot down to 3rd in the 7th, caught by Longoria. And he takes ball 1. And out in front. 1 and 1. Yeah, that's just not right after 98 and 99 and 98 again.
Against a very accomplished hitter. You get him to take a swing like that, you know it's nasty.
Back to the fastball, and he pounds it away. It's 1 and 2.
You know what this tells me? They chart everything. You know, when Eddie Romero's out throwing in the bullpen, getting ready to come in this inning, all the pitches are charted, the number of pitches. Just add 4. Get those out of the way, and then go to throwing strikes and striking people out. So he just needs to up his warm-up tosses by 4.
Strangely enough, there's a certain logic to that, at least on paper.
I'm sending a text to Jim Hickey right now.
Way wide. Rays trying to end this. It's a 9-2 ball game. Fly ball up the right side toward the stands and will be out of play. So So, souvenir before we conclude this one tonight. A 2-2 count, 2 outs, a runner on, and a 9-2 game. And the Rays swept Houston in the Trop in a 3-game series, and they're on the verge of winning the first game of this 4-game series. And the count is full. And Romero in here, going to take a minimum of 25 pitches, a couple of strikeouts and a walk, and a full count on Altuve. Ground ball, sharply hit, deflects off Longoria's hand. Gaddis will go to third. Altuve aboard. Well, you hope that Evans all right down there at third base.
He doesn't seem to be real thrilled. He's fine, but not real happy right now. Altuve, who's been robbed a couple of times by Evan Longoria, he gets him here with a hop that kind of, Evans moving to his right, trying to play that ball off his hip, and you're right, you can see him start to pull that hand up. That definitely caught it on its way out into the outfield.
A hit for Altuve. It's his second of the night. Marwin Gonzalez will pinch hit. He hits for Preston Tucker. The pitch is too low. Into center. Kiermaier's there, and the Rays win it. Rays defeat Houston 9-2 tonight to take the first game of this series and pick up their first win on this road trip. As Erasmo Ramirez picks up his 10th win for the Rays tonight, 9-15-2